I understand that you are dealing with a difficult situation and the feelings are becoming heavy to bear. Sometimes the weight of a relationship or a painful moment does not necessarily come from the actions of the other person, but from the confusion and intensity of emotions that envelop us entirely. When someone is unable to deal with their own feelings, it can create a dense network of negative energy that ends up intertwining with yours. This is an experience that seems to steal the air from the environment, as if the simple act of breathing becomes heavier. The feeling of being at the mercy of another person's emotions, especially when this person neither has the ability nor the willingness to understand what they feel, can make you feel lost, hurt, and above all, exhausted. The suffering is even more pronounced when expectations are broken. You expect to be loved, understood, valued. But when the other person cannot even understand their own feelings, it becomes practically impossible for them to handle yours. And this, in a way, is devastating. It's like building a castle on an unstable foundation. It can collapse at any moment, without warning, without preparation. Understanding this scenario is not easy, nor is it fair. Sometimes you try hard, give your best, invest time and energy. However, you see the other person distant, perhaps lost in their own fears, frustrations, and unresolved feelings. And this frustration accumulates within you, like a suffocated scream. The tears that come are not just of sadness, but of a deeper pain, the kind that comes from the sense of emotional abandonment. On this path, you may feel like you are walking in circles, always returning to the same point, trying to understand what went wrong, what could have been different. But the problem is not you. The problem is that, for a true emotional connection to occur, both parties must be willing and able to understand their emotions. When this doesn't happen, one part of the relationship is always lacking and imbalance sets in. Your suffering is legitimate, and it's important that you recognize that. There's no need to diminish or justify the pain you feel. It's not weakness, nor is it a mistake. In fact, it's a sign that you are still open to love, understanding, and growth. Even if the other person cannot reciprocate in the same way, this does not devalue what you have to offer. On the contrary, it reinforces the beauty of your sensitivity and the depth of your feelings. Still, you may feel anger, frustration, and sadness. All of these emotions are part of the healing process. But you also need to understand that no matter how much you wish, you cannot force someone to see what they cannot. You cannot carry the burden of another person's unresolved feelings. You cannot heal the pain that they refuse to face. As painful as it may be, it is necessary to set boundaries. Boundaries are not barriers, they are protections. They don't exist to push the other person away, but to preserve you. It's as if you are drawing a circle of protection around yourself, defining how far the other's pain can affect you. You deserve this space, this peace. Your desire for connection is legitimate, true, and honest. And it's natural that amid so much emotional effort, you start to wonder, why can't this person see what's right in front of them? Why can't they feel with the same intensity or clarity? This causes a type of distress that seems to consume the certainties you once had about love and what it means to be truly seen by someone. When you dedicate yourself to someone who doesn't know how to handle their own feelings, you end up feeling like you are navigating turbulent waters. At one moment, everything seems calm, and in the next instant, waves come without warning, bringing more confusion and sadness. This emotional uncertainty creates a profound weariness, leading you to a state of constant alert. You find yourself analyzing every word, every gesture, searching for signs that this person might, after all, be opening up, understanding, or at least trying to find a path for themselves and for you. However, it's possible that the other person remains trapped in some sort of internal fog, where their own pains and fears obscure any chance of seeing the love that is being offered. And in this process, you feel like you are giving everything you have but not receiving what you need in return. This can lead you to question your own worth, to think that maybe you are not enough. But as cruel as it may seem, it's important to remember that the problem is not with you, but in the other person's inability to deal with themselves. The challenge of moving forward, even with a broken heart, is not easy. You are dealing not only with the frustration of a failed relationship, but also with the mourning of everything that could have been. You dreamed of a future, built scenarios in your mind, and opened your heart in the hope that reciprocity would come. However, When the other person is unable to handle their own feelings, they cannot meet those expectations. And that's when you face the painful reality that no matter how much you try or how much you love, the other will only be able to give you what they have, even if that is little or nothing. The pain is real, and sometimes you may even feel a certain resentment for having allowed it to reach this point. You might blame yourself for not seeing the signs earlier, or for being too optimistic, believing that you could heal the other person's wounds with your love. But love, no matter how strong, cannot replace the need for each person to face their own demons. No one can walk that path for another. Love can support, it can be present, but it cannot be the instrument of healing for wounds that are not recognized by the one who bears them. At this moment, it is crucial to rediscover your own light, the one that perhaps dimmed a bit during this process of suffering. It's time to turn inward and ask yourself, what do I really want? What do I deserve? Sometimes the answer is painful, because it may mean that the best thing to do is to let go. Not because you no longer love, but because you need to love yourself enough not to accept less than you deserve. There is a strength in acceptance that is often underestimated. Accepting that the other is not prepared for love in the same way you are is not a sign of giving up, but an act of courage and self-respect. This acceptance comes with a mix of relief and sadness, because while it recognizes the truth, it also has to deal with the emptiness it leaves behind. However, this emptiness can be a space for something new, for healing, for renewal. It is a necessary pause for you to reorganize your heart and your expectations, redefining what is acceptable for you in a relationship. Dealing with this kind of pain takes time and, above all, patience with yourself. There is no need to rush the healing, nor to mask the suffering. Allow yourself to feel what needs to be felt. Allow yourself to cry the tears that are still to come. Each tear shed is a step toward relief, to the release of the emotional burden you have been carrying for so long. And when the crying finally stops, you can start to rebuild your path, this time with more clarity and inner strength. This journey does not have to be solitary, even if it seems that way now. There are people around you who are willing to listen to you, to support you, to offer shoulders for your tears. But above all, there is a part of yourself that still believes in the possibility of true and reciprocal love. Do not lose that hope, even if it seems fragile at the moment. This is the thread that can guide you back to yourself, to the person you were before being hurt, and to an even stronger and more loving version of who you can become. With every new step you take towards healing, there is a feeling that insists on coming back. Doubt. Was it a mistake to invest so much in someone who was not emotionally available? Was all this love in vain? And worse still, does all this say something about you, about your choices, and about the love you believe you deserve? These are tough questions, and it is understandable that the answers are not always clear. However, there is one truth that needs to be remembered. The love you offered was never in vain. Your capacity to love, even in the face of difficulties, is what makes you special and, in a way, invulnerable to emotional adversities. Yes, you were hurt, maybe even betrayed by the lack of reciprocity, but that does not erase the beauty and strength of the feeling you were able to nurture. Allow yourself a moment of deep honesty with yourself. Look in the mirror and see not only the pain but also the resilience. Often, love becomes more a matter of persistence than of reciprocity. It is when you persist in being loving, even when the other cannot reciprocate in the same measure, that you discover what it truly means to love fully without conditions. However, this same persistence needs to be directed back towards yourself. Just as you offered understanding, patience, and care to the other, you now need to direct that same energy inward. This is a crucial point in the path of self-discovery and healing, understanding that you do not need to continue carrying the weight of another person's emotional incapacity. You might feel that by distancing yourself or setting boundaries, you are abandoning the other, but that is not the truth. You are merely choosing to protect yourself, respect your own feelings, and value what is most genuine within you. And here's a difficult but powerful lesson. It is not your responsibility to heal someone who is not willing to be healed. You can offer support, be a loving and understanding presence, but you cannot sacrifice yourself to the point of losing your own essence for someone who is not willing to face their own demons. At some point, it is necessary to let the other person take responsibility for their feelings and actions, even if it means the end of something you believed to be special. Now, when you feel you're at the brink of your strength, when emotional exhaustion seems to take over every aspect of your being, it is the moment to redirect your focus to what still remains of you. There are still parts of you that are intact, that have not been touched by suffering. These parts need to be nurtured, cared for, and above all, loved. Your self-love, which may have been neglected during this journey, deserves to be restored. This is the moment when you start to realize that love is not just a feeling you have for someone else, but a state of being that must begin within yourself. Before you can fully love someone, you need to love yourself first. This is not a cliché or an empty catchphrase. It is a fundamental truth that many of us forget when we are immersed in the chaos of a relationship that does not correspond to us. The process of rediscovering self-love starts simply, with small gestures of kindness toward yourself. It can be as subtle as giving yourself time to reflect in silence, away from the emotional demands of another. It can be a solitary walk, a hot bath, or even a night dedicated to listening to your favorite music. Each small gesture of self-care is a step toward reconnection with yourself. Understand that, as difficult as it may be to accept, a person who cannot handle their own feelings cannot be your anchor. You cannot keep trying to stabilize a boat that has no direction. This person may not intend to hurt you, but their actions and inactions caused by their internal confusion have a direct impact on your well-being. And this is where you need to decide how far you are willing to continue sailing in this stormy sea. It takes courage to admit that sometimes loving someone also means letting them go, especially when that love causes more pain than joy. At this point, there may be a feeling of emptiness, as if you are abandoning not only the person but also a part of yourself that was dedicated to that love. But this emptiness is not an end, it is a beginning. It is a space that can now be filled with new possibilities, new loves, and most importantly, with a new understanding of who you are and what you truly deserve. The emptiness, as painful as it is also a space of potential, a place where you can sow new hopes and eventually find a type of love that is genuine and reciprocal. The most complicated part of this journey may be letting go not only of the person, but also of the expectations you built around them. The dreams you had, the moments you imagined, all of these need to be left behind so that new things can emerge. And this detachment is, no doubt, one of the most painful parts of the healing process. But it is also an act of liberation, because by letting go, you are making room for something better and more suitable for your true self to enter your life. The journey continues, even if it seems uncertain and lonely. Remember that you are not really alone. You are, in fact, in the company of yourself, your own capacity to love, and the power to renew. This is your true strength, and it is more powerful than any pain you have ever felt. As you move forward in your healing journey, never forget that everything you need is already within you. The strength, resilience, and ability to rise again, more aware and stronger than before. Yes, I know what you went through was painful, and I also know that the scars of that pain may still be present. But remember that every scar carries a lesson, a reminder of who you are and how much you are capable of overcoming. Life, no matter how unpredictable and challenging it may be, is always guiding you to what is truly yours. And believe me, true love, the kind that respects, nurtures, and helps you grow, is still waiting for you. This is just a chapter, and you still have the chance to rewrite your own story. What seemed like an end can actually be the beginning of a new path, more aligned with your essence and what you truly deserve. Allow yourself to rebuild, allow yourself to dream again, but this time with a more solid foundation, where your self-love is the firmest cornerstone. You no longer need to carry the weight of someone who couldn't deal with their own inner world. What you need is to make space for someone who wants to walk by your side with reciprocity, respect, and true commitment. And it is exactly in this space that the greatest transformation resides, the awareness that you are worthy of being truly loved, holy, and that you do not need to accept emotional crumbs to feel complete. Love, when it is true, is an encounter of whole souls, not halves trying to fill each other. It is a path walked hand in hand, without the weight of another's burden. And know that the more you align with yourself, the closer you will be to finding someone who is also willing to love, with the same intensity, with the same commitment, and at the same frequency. Now, I really want to hear what you have to say. How did this topic resonate with you? Leave your comment below and share your reflections or your own stories of overcoming. Your voice matters, and this exchange of experiences strengthens us as a community of people seeking true love, self-care, and mutual understanding. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue receiving content like this, which addresses emotional and spiritual life in a deep and true way. Your subscription is not just a technical gesture. It is a commitment to yourself to seek a deeper understanding of love, self-knowledge, and personal growth. And if this video touched your heart, leave your like and share it with someone you feel needs to hear these words. Let's create a chain of support and welcome together, helping more people find self-love and the strength to move forward. Remember, your story is not over yet, and you have the power to choose how it will unfold from here. The love you desire begins with the love you give yourself. The decision to heal and allow new possibilities is in your hands, and the first step starts now. You are not alone. We are together on this journey, and the next chapter promises to be more beautiful and fuller than anything you have ever lived before. So comment, subscribe, leave your like, and come be a part of this community of transformation and love.